What's up, guys? Merry Christmas to you all. Today we're going to be talking about Bitcoin and just identifying the direction and in general what is just happening to Bitcoin, correct? But we're going to identify the structure in the small time frame, 3-hourly time frame. We are going to identify together what we see in the small picture. Then we'll move on to the big picture and just identify the main direction. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, guys, today we're going to look at Bitcoin small picture, and I'm just going to show you exactly how I set up my structure, how I set up my support resistance zones, everything. Basically, start with a clean chart and work myself all the way to a direction, correct, where I can identify the direction. First thing, before we can identify what's happening to the market, because at this very moment, I can say nothing about the market, correct? But once start putting structures and all that stuff, then I can start identifying what's happening at this moment, correct? Today we're just going to be focusing at that specific zone what I circled. Nothing else, everything else is irrelevant. We're just going to be focusing on that, correct? Okay, first thing, guys, before we do anything, before we look at indicators, patterns, there's one thing what you first need to identify, because once I can understand that, I already do know, is it worth even taking time out to understand? Is it even worth taking time out to invest in stuff in, correct? Like, for example, to take a trade. First thing, we take the high points and low points, correct? Let's go to take the high points and low points, correct? Another thing is, if you guys look in my video previously, we also show you guys how to predict the high points and low points, correct? How to, and no support and resistance. We first look for all the high points, then we look for all the low points, correct? Okay, first look for all the high points, then the low points. Versus vice, so you guys can do it either way, correct? But before you just plug support and resistance, just to identify it more clear, because some people, like for example, when I started in the beginning, I also didn't know exactly, am I putting support right, am I putting resistance right? I did not 100% know, am I doing it right, correct? But that's where I came up with the method, with the structure, with the thing. First identify the high points and low points. Then when you identify it, then you can take the line, your support and resistance, and put it across, correct? Let's go to identify. Like I said before, guys, we're going to look for the turnaround, correct? The market has turned around there. The market has turned around there. That already confirms our two high points, correct? That already confirms our two high points, correct? Okay, where's the two low points, correct? And you guys can see, like we talked about the peak formation, correct? Like the mountain, every time when the market turned around, change direction, we want that specific point, correct? Now let's quickly look at the low points. There's one low point and there's one low point, correct? Why did I take that one in? Because that one's so close, I'm informed with my thing. But in general, where the market mainly turn around is at that specific point. There's a low point, correct? Two high points, one low point. But I'm gonna put that also in because I use zones, correct? Now we understand how can you confirm that is our lowest point right now? How can you confirm that? You guys can see the market has changed direction, correct? You guys can see that, correct? Now that's our low point, mountain, just the opposite, correct? To the downside, it's downward, just like that, correct? But now we identify our low points and high points, guys. Now let's put our lines across, correct? Let's put our lines across. I use, like I told you guys, the zones, but you guys can use, if you guys really want to, the lines, correct? That, but I use the zones, correct? Now let's just quickly do that. There we go, more or less there. And let's quickly put supports. Okay, let's just quickly change the color. Okay, there's our support, correct? You can make it a little bit thicker if you want to. Now we already know the good deals and the bad deals, correct? Red means no go, bad deal, not allowed buying, correct? That means red means what red means is no buying, correct? No buying, correct? Red means no buying, and green means buying. Possibility, guys, possibility. Let's see how the market reacts, correct? Buying. Okay, and of course the red, I'm not going to write it down, but you guys do know the red is resistance and the green is support, correct? Now we know, that's why at this moment you're looking, and that's what's so important to first put your resistance support. Look at the chart right now. Do I want to take more time out to identify the possible trade at this moment? No, because it's just hit resistance, it's just hit a bad, not a good deal zone. That means From there, I'm going to look at another chart. The only reason I'm going more deeper in, I want to show you that I want to identify the direction at Bitcoin at this moment. But I already identified right now that specific zone. It's not even worth looking at Bitcoin to think of trading, correct? We're going to look at another chart. That's also important to look at support resistance first. But let's quickly finish. Okay, at this moment, I just want to put that line to that line across. That is support right there. Okay, that is support. That's a possible buy. Just putting it out there. Now, why did I put another zone right there? Because I'm looking, I'm going to take that away, but I'm looking in smaller picture. You guys can see in smaller picture, I've going smaller time frame. That was that was support. What turned into resistance, what turned into support again, correct? Now I'm just thinking in smaller time frames can go up again, correct? Playing smaller time. But in general, focusing on the big picture, focusing just on the big picture, we can take that away, correct? We can take that away, correct? But I'm just saying, as a possible, there's going to be a possible pushback right there. Because just because we understand that in the past, correct? And then that means that can come up like that, bounce. But I'm just putting it out there, correct? But let's talk about the first. After when you're done, correct? After you're done, number 2 is going to be identifying the direction of the market. Where's the market where's the market heading, correct? What is the direction of the market, correct? At this very moment, not looking at the big picture. The big picture, you know, it's in a descending trend, correct? But looking at that moment, we're in a horizontal structure right now. It's just going sideways the whole time, okay? Now we identified our structure going sideways. Unless that makes lower lows, we're in a sideways trend, correct? That's our foot. Now we identified our second one in a sideways trend. Our third one is to look at structure. What structures is there, correct? And how could we predict that Bitcoin is going to get that bullish small to up run, correct? Basically a breather, a pullback. How could we predicted that? If you guys know structures and stuff, we would have seen there's a wedge right there, a falling wedge. I'll show you guys in a moment how a falling wedge looks like. But at this moment there's a falling wedge, correct? At this moment there's a falling wedge. And a falling wedge, you take the distance of the top and the bottom and the top, they measure there and you take your profit there, correct? But at this moment we saw there was forming a wedge formation, and that's how it looks like, correct? With the breaks are bouncing, we buy there, we buy in that specific zone, correct? And you guys can see it broke out, it consolidated a little bit there, and it broke further. We're supposed to buy there. I saw that pattern, but unfortunately I did not take a trade there because I was very uncomfortable because the main direction of Bitcoin was down, correct? And I don't do very good in bearish markets when it comes to trading, correct? And that's what we call predicting that whole bullish run. Our first resistance was at that specific zone. If you guys can see, that's how we predict our resistance. I'm going to show you guys. Resistance 1, resistance 2, resistance 3, resistance 4, correct? Now that's our resistance 1, resistance 2, resistance 3, resistance 4, resistance 5, correct? You can see hit resistance 5, and it makes sense. Big structure just got rejected, correct? Where's Bitcoin going at this very moment? Is looking at that structure, correct? Just looking at that structure. You guys can see Bitcoin just broke to the downside, correct? You guys can see we're forming a rising wedge. I'll show you guys now. You guys can see right now. If I put my structure like that, correct? You guys can see we're forming a rising wedge, correct? You guys see that? It was a rising wedge and broke out. Then if we do the rising wedge like that, we take the distance of that and distance of that, then we push it down. Then we're the market's in turn around there. Possibility, but not 100%, correct? And at this moment, the market just broke, correct? I won't be surprised if Bitcoin is there's two specific levels where I think Bitcoin can go. Number 1, that zone right there, correct? That's number 1. Number 2 is by the buy zone, correct? Now I already know Bitcoin can go to that level and that level, possibility, correct? But understanding that, did Bitcoin break that structure, that bullish structure was what was pushing up, correct? A lot of people thought Bitcoin's turning around for good, going to make all-time highs, but we all know that's just a breather, correct? It's just a nice pullback, correct? Let's quickly have a look quickly. At this moment, there's two specific zones where Bitcoin is going to possibility do a small reaction, that zone and that zone, correct? Once when Bitcoin's there, we have to see what the characteristics of Bitcoin, because at this moment, identifying small time frames, Bitcoin is just going sideways, correct? Now once we Bitcoin's at that specific zone, we have to have a look now, correct? You guys can see another thing I just want to show you guys also, that Bitcoin is making a M structure. What's an M top? I'll show you guys now what's an M top. Basically, M top is like that, correct? And if you quickly write on the internet what's an M top, M top is like that, correct? M top is that. Let me show you guys quickly. M top. M top is that structure right there. I mean, that one's a beautiful one. That one's a more perfect one. That's an M top, correct? That means once we see an M top M top's happening, we take the distance of the neckline, and to the top, then we predict we predict the where we must take our TP, correct? And as you guys can see, the M top form, correct? That means we take the neck to the top, and then we predict the prediction at the bottom. That means our TP is going to be right around that zone. That's confirming more bullishness at this very moment. Understanding that direction, we already identified that Bitcoin is going to go down, just identifying the M top that was forming right there, correct? Just identifying the M top, correct? Okay, there's a M top, correct? Now let's quickly go in the bigger picture. Now we already identified the direction of the market, just like that. Very simple, very clean, correct? We identified there's a possibility of resistance in that zone specifically, correct? There's a possibility of resistance in that zone, correct? There's a possibility of resistance, correct? We identified there's a possibility of resistance. I must actually make it green because it can be support, correct? Support. Okay. There's a possibility of support. Just having a reminder of a possibility, but more looking at the bigger picture. More looking at the bigger picture, but there is a possibility of support, correct? Now we identified where the market is going, correct? And if I was shorting Bitcoin, I'll be taking position right now because it makes sense. It got hit against the M top. Now it's getting rejected. Now I'll take my position right there. But that's a different story. But let's quickly look at the bigger picture and let's see what Bitcoin is doing, correct? Let's quickly go to our and guys, I just want to say one more thing. That's all you guys need to do. You already identified. You guys can literally take a trade right now. You don't even need to look at indicators. Indicators just confirmation, extra confirmation, correct? Probably not saying it, pronouncing it right, but yeah. And now the final thing is now we identified the direction. Then what you can do is you can take away your indicators, correct? We can take away indicators, correct? To give more confirmation that the market is going our way, correct? We can see we got the diversion right there, confirming that the market is going to go down. Right there, got the diversion, correct? Let me just clean my chart there quickly. Correct? We got the diversion right there, correct? A bearish diversion, the grid is going high diversion right there, and then we have the indicators. When the EMA is at the bottom, it acts as support. When the EMA is at the top, it acts as support. When the EMA is at the bottom, sorry guys, it acts as resistance, correct? And you guys can see the EMA is at the top. That means you're getting resistance at this moment. You guys can see the simple moving average is acting as support right there. If we're going past in history, you guys can see we go past in history that when a simple moving average was on top, like for example there, that acted as resistance, correct? But now the simple moving average at this very moment acting as support. That will give me another confirmation that there can be a reaction at that specific zone, correct? But let's just watch out for that. We can maybe get a nice pull up, correct? Let's have a look there. There is a possibility you can get that zone and pull up. But yeah, let's just be open to everything, because in the market you have to have a very open mind. But at this moment, that's our first level we're going to look into. We're going to look at to see if there's any reactions, and if we break to that zone, that's going to be our main zone we want to look into, correct? Because what can happen at this moment, you can get a push up, push back, push up, then finally break, correct? Because the market's not 100% perfect. But let's quickly go in, and that's basically that. Indicators just for last confirmation, just for the last thing, correct? But the main focus is first identify support and resistance, first identify the structure, correct? And then we go from there. Let's quickly go in a 4 hourly and let's go in a daily and let's predict the market in long term, correct? As you guys can see, personally for me, the market just gave a breather, correct? Sorry for my messy structure. But personally for me, the market just gave a breather. Let's delete all that. It's only by my TP too. But personally for me, the market just gave a breather. You guys can see, let's go take the Fibonacci zone and let's see how far it's retraced. Okay, the market stopped by 132. Okay, that's a very low retracement, correct? Golden ratio is 60 and 50, correct? But personally for me, are we going a bullish run? No, I believe that's just a breather, a retracement, correct? I believe we're going to make lower lows, correct? That means I believe we're going to go to that zone right there, correct? Let me get my line thing. Let me quickly get my line thing. I believe personally you're gonna go to that zone right there, correct? You're gonna make lower lows and might go to that specific zone right there. That's my personal belief. That zone right there, right around $2,500, correct? That's my personal belief. I don't believe the Bitcoin's gonna go up and make a bullish run. Can I be wrong? You bet I can be wrong, correct? But just over the years of me doing that stuff, I don't believe Bitcoin's going to go up. That's just my believing something. But now we identified where's Bitcoin in smaller time frame they're heading, what's the main direction of Bitcoin's heading, correct? And we identified the big structure. Bitcoin's at the huge resistance at the specific zone, correct? Bitcoin is hit against the resistance. I also believe, end of the story, I believe Bitcoin is still bearish at this very moment. We just got a small retracement because the market cannot go down, correct? As we got there, correct? A small breather, correct? Do you see that breather there? We just got one there, correct? And that's all what it is, just a breather, correct? Bitcoin is not going to make all-time highs, and that's my opinion, correct? Because it happened there and it's happening there at this very moment, correct? But let's see. But now we identified the big structure, and we also identified the small structure where Bitcoin's heading at this moment. You guys can see there's a possible with the indicators, there's a possible support. But let's just have a look, guys. I want to show you guys how simple I just put everything together, and guys can see it's not very confusing of anything. It's very simple, very fast, and everything, guys. And these guys, just like that, guys. Have a lovely day and have a lovely Christmas.